that you would most need me for in this particular situation? Because you want to, in other words, what you're saying is that you'd like to figure this thing out yourself.
No, you're generalizing. Let's get specific.
No, I'm saying
let's get specific, and we got to get. I mean,
by the way,
let's be concrete.
By the way, notice. So I tried to make a maneuver out to here. He went, no, I won't buy it. Now, what if I just said that? No, no, actually, that's not what I meant. All I meant was that what you need to do is you want to figure out what you want to accomplish right here and now.
But we've passed the here and now. Now we're
right now.
Okay, that was 3 seconds ago. We got to be specific now.
Yeah, I'm specific. So what is it that you want?
For him to be stopped being such a spineless quid.
Okay. What are you going to see right here and now that's going to let you know that?
I don't know if I'd see anything. I'm not even looking at the guy.
Well, how are you going to know if you stop doing it?
Just don't worry about it.
Well, but
I've had a lifetime experience. He's a spineless wimp.
Oh, you've had a lifetime of experience? I thought you just met this guy in an exercise.
I've met similar people.
Ah. You're not generalizing on me, are you?
Well, to be specific, you're right.
Okay, so let's be specific about how you know this. See, okay, so we're doing apply to self now. I mean, first of all, I notice if he does something, he's using a generalization to make this. And notice what he's doing. He's trying to be specific in terms of here and now, but he's very general in terms of his judgments. So actually, what he's doing is he's doing both. He's just got them sorted onto different logical levels. You can generalize. If you take all these moments that you're putting together, just like you know that he's had this behavior all the time, you'd probably be able to find some kind of patterns. You'd probably be able to, if you took all the moments of what's been happening here and put them together, just like you could take the life experience that you have of comparing similarities of people like him, you'd probably be able to figure out exactly what you need to do to resolve this.
Yeah, but as soon as the exercise, why resolve it? As soon as the exercise is over, you'll never see him again.
Well, wouldn't you like that?
Not see him again?
That's another solution, isn't it? Okay, so let's stop for a moment. By the way, you'll also notice at this point, I'm keying off of him mostly because he seems to be the point here that makes he's kind of going along with the flow of everything. I could start to balance it out by, let's start to find out if I start making him specific, can he still object? And that's the other interesting thing when you have two people, and me as the person here working with the frames. Remember I said I saw a calibrated loop. He would go small and he would go big. What if I change it around and make him go small? What would happen? Could he still do the same things that he did? Well, I don't know. And by the way, it's not that he even has to do it himself. I can be the translator. So really, it seems to me that what you're saying, if we want to be specific about it, what you're saying is that one needs to consider all of the bits and pieces that make a difference in the overall picture.
All the alternatives, right. And be flexible enough to adjust.
So that you can follow a certain specific path when you see that that's the most appropriate one.
Well, you have to look at all the paths and determine which way you want to go, depending on your end objective.
Now, let's say I want to do hierarchy here. Let's just play and I'll demonstrate something. So I could find out from him, so why is it so important? I think what he needs to know, the specific thing you'd like to know, is why the hell is it so important to see all of those different alternatives? Well, what's flexibility going to get you? Are you inflexible?
Of course.
You are? Do you
Why
want to be
not?
inflexible?
I'm not inflexible, I'm steadfast.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, well, that's good. I would have had to do it for you. Thank you. So, if I come back over here, though, so I'm saying is, well, so part of the reason to be flexible is so that you can be steadfast.
Part of the reason to be flexible is so you can adjust. Determine where you want to be, so you don't get tied in.
Well, thank you. That's great. So, now he's doing the redefine for me. Okay, so he just redefined it as well. So, by the way, what I'm working for here now is let's find some way. If I can take what he says and redefine it, and take what he says and redefine it, remember our A equals B equals C? Well, if I can say, well, A equals B equals C, and this A equals that B, which also equals this C, well, then you're really in agreement. Right? So I can take what they say, redefine it, and say, oh, so you're actually really saying the same thing. Which, in other words, because he wants to be flexible in order to make the right decisions, right? You want to be steadfast in order to make the right decisions.
Well, let's be specific.
Yeah.
And to give a counterexample, no, I don't have to be right. I just have to not be a wimp.
How do you, so what are you if you're not a wimp? Let's be specific.
A non-wimp.
Are you right now not acting like a wimp?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, now let's be specific right here and now. Are you acting like a wimp?
Could be. Excuse me.
So maybe, he said, see, well now I'm wondering, here I'll throw a meta frame, so maybe what I'm wondering is that maybe you're also worried about yourself acting like a wimp sometimes, and that maybe he brings that kind of thing out in you and you don't like that.
Okay, let's stop being a wimp.
Yeah. So in other words, so by the way, that was a meta frame, and it was also kind of starting to apply to itself, because he gave me a nice direction to go. He says, well, maybe I am acting like a wimp. Wow, that tells me a real interesting way to meta frame. So maybe what really is bothering him, and by the way, it's not uncommon that this would happen, is that he projects himself onto there. And the less that he's a wimp, the less he's going to see that in him. Okay, and that's one of those, that's one of those things that can be real interesting, is that people will not like things in other people that they don't want in themselves. And if this person brings it out in them, I mean, why does this guy have to be so...
Are you calling me a wimp? Is that what you're saying?
No. In fact, I'm saying that what I was hearing you saying is that you wanted to be able to act, that you were concerned about acting like a wimp.
You use too many words.
Yeah, that's okay. Your unconscious mind understands them, does it not?
Well, probably not. So be specific about my unconscious mind. What part of my unconscious mind?
By the way, at this point, let's also, again, take another step back and say, so this person obviously, he's got another agenda going. He doesn't want to go, he's got a thing now with me. He's kind of saying, well, you're doing this now, you're doing this. So I have to now wonder, okay, I need to do some meta-framing between me and you. So in other words, no, I think people should act like a man. And I don't think looking at the big picture like he's talking about necessarily makes somebody a wimp. I don't know how in the hell you can act like a man unless you know what kind of repercussions your behavior is going to have. He's saying in order to be able to be the most powerful that you can be, a man needs to look at the whole picture and to see all those different directions.
But to give a counterexample, isn't the feminine trait better?
Okay, well see, now I'm hearing you say that you might have a conflict inside of you. On the one hand, that you're saying that you can't be a wimp, but on the other hand, you're saying that some feminine traits are good. Well, that's something I think that you might want to resolve for yourself. That's a meta-frame. Okay, in other words, if he starts to counterexample, what I'm hearing, himself, it's like, well, wimp is good, wimp is bad. Well, wait a minute. That seems to me to be that there might be something that does, once again, need to be sorted out in him. And again, before we go back in the role play issue, again, if somebody is acting like that, if somebody won't respond and they seem to play the opposite side, it's kind of like he's doing kind of a typical sort of a polarity response as much as a counterexample. I almost say that that's not quite a counterexample as much as it is he just takes the opposite position of whatever you're taking. A counterexample is not necessarily a polarity to what the person has said. Counterexample people are yes, but. He's not so much yes, but. He's saying, no, it's this way. No, it's that way. No, it's this way. No, it's that way. So I hear a little bit more of what I call conflict. And then what I would wonder is, it seems to me that that's what I've got to label as happening here, is that there's some kind of a conflict, to be specific.